So this is a TV series. It's called Materializations. It's about a cop who works in a surveillance department. So he's used to sort of bugging people, to listening in, eavesdropping on them. He's wanted by a crime boss for you know, somebody he put away in the past. Now every good cop needs, you know, a weakness. He needs something wrong. So this guy has these visions of a guy dressed in a rabbit outfit. Now you know, in good storytelling, this weakness becomes a strength because the rabbit will appear and take him through a looking glass so that he's able to construct this kind of virtual crime scene that he can walk around and solve the crime at the end of the day. It's a bit like CSI. Probably most lab techs never see the light of day, but in CSI they're running around with guns and they're kind of, you know, doing all cool stuff. Well, this is what's happened to this surveillance guy. So it's a bit like, I don't know, Donnie Darko meets The Conversation, perhaps. Now I find out about this series with a tweet from a character from the show. Now a friend of mine is interested in this show, but he thinks I'm going to particularly like it. So he's tweeted the character and said to the fictional character, you should get in touch with my friend because he would love this. So I get this tweet and I think, well, that's interesting. So I go to the Twitter profile. I know that it's a fictional character, so I'm in no illusion that this is kind of real. And I think often people use this term about suspending disbelief. Henry Jenkins has this phrase about it's the active creation of belief. And I think that's the difference here, that, you know, when I sit down to play a computer game, I know it's a game. I'm under no illusion. There's no reason why when we come to transmedia stories and these pervasive games that we have to pretend that they're real. And so I know it's a fictional character, but I'm buying into it because I want to enjoy something that exists. It's a persistent world, you know, this kind of pervasive storytelling. So I go to the website and I find that I can download an app. I'm not obliged to download the app, but if I do download the app, I'm promised an enhanced experience. And sure enough, there's this welcome video from the cop saying, thanks, it's great to have you on the team. I hope you'll be helping me as I go on this journey. Now, not long after I've watched that video, I get an email from the other side, from somebody working for the crime boss. And now, as in all good interactive storytelling, I'm offered a choice. And am I going to go with the cop or am I going to go with the baddies? Well, I decided to go with the cop. So I get back onto Twitter and I'm saying to people, this is amazing. Like, what's been happening to the people that went with the cop? So we're already starting to form this community around the hashtag for the show that we're sharing our experiences. Different people have tried different things and we want to know how they compare. Then the TV show comes on screen. And what happens is I'm following behind these two characters and they disappear into this little hut in the parking lot and the story moves on. But my mind is still back in this hut because I'm thinking, well, I wonder what they were getting up to. I wonder what's going on there. And that's not resolved in this episode because that's a subplot that's going to go on through the series. But what I find after the show is that there's a surveillance audio recording in my mobile app. So now I can listen in to that conversation and fill in the gap. And Verdane, this cop, he's also graciously given me some case notes so that I can actually do some research if I want. So the TV show was a TV show like any other TV show, and I'm not obliged to do anything other than just sit back and watch it. But if this is something that I really want to get into, if I want an enhanced experience, then it's open to me and it's giving it to me on this mobile app. Not, in this case, at the time of screening, but to retain my attention between these episodes, to get me coming back between the first episode and the second episode. So I get back onto Twitter. This is amazing. Now, all the people that followed the mob boss, they've got different content from me. And so now I'm wondering, oh, did I make the right decision or not? But before I have a chance to think about it too much, I get a text message that says, that information you hold, that audio file is toxic and you need to get rid of it. So I'm given another choice. Do I keep it? Do I get rid of it? I click this link and it shows me a map. And I'm starting to wonder where, what's going on. So I've been, threatened by a fictional character. I've been given a map. I'm back onto Twitter. What's going on, And so now everybody's talking about what this means, what could it happen? And some bright sparks, brighter than me, have realised that, well, this, I've read this web series, or I've read some of the other character information, And I think something's going to go down at that place. It's somewhere where we need to be. Saturday morning, I get a reward pop up into the thing. It's a coupon from the sponsor. Now, just for brevity, I've kind of shown it in the same locker here. I think that out of world content, which is stuff like these coupons and rewards, and that they should be in a different locker so that I can, because this would really take me out of the game. Unless it was a reward that was in character, that was in Story World, I would have put it somewhere else. But in any case, so this is really a sweetener, and it's not a bribe. So it's not like you're only going to get this if you show up today. It's like, you know, we really appreciate that you're following along, and we want to just say thank you. So here's a coupon. So I go along, and there's a guy in a rabbit suit from the show. So no one's told me to do this, but my instinct is to get a photograph with it, put it onto Facebook, and now there's 24 friends that weren't watching this show that now know all about it. Who is this rabbit? You know, where's it from? And it's generating conversation. And this sort of rabbit and this live event that was at the shopping mall has all been scripted by a writer, and it was all baked into the concept of the show. It wasn't left till later on. Also, on that day, just like in gaming, where if you wear a different hat, you have different powers, or people treat you differently if you have a different kind of costume on, I get a choice, you know, do I wear the black roll neck or the full metal jacket? And that's going to affect something else that happens further down the line. And I go onto the website, and there's an interactive video player that is now showing this photograph that I'd taken from the shopping mall. What's interesting about this video player is that this is actually what was shot, and that the image of me is being rendered live based on my data. So this player, this video player, knows who I am, it knows how I've interacted, and it's now serving up content rendered across, you know, something else. And again, this has been scripted right from the beginning. This is not an afterthought. Someone sat down and thought, we really want to give people a kick to show them this is a personalised experience, that it's really worthwhile getting involved because it's going to make a difference. Hopefully it won't surprise you to know that we can do all of that right now. Our technology conductor is a network intelligence in a similar way to I described that telephony network. So stimulus coming in from media networks, from social networks, go into conductor, and the storyteller decides, what am I going to do now I've got this interaction? Am I going to respond? Am I going to respond text message for text message? Am I going to wait till I get 50 text messages and then publish the next video? Am I looking at the number of video views and deciding when to make the next Facebook post? And we can do all of that. And the locker system that I described in that app, that's all available inside Conductor for a scriptwriter without any programming experience at all. They can write that. Now, to deliver it on the app writer needs to know how to interface to the API, but all the content is all in Conductor. And we connect to all these different platforms, because what we see right now is that when people say, well, I've got this cross-platform story, I've got this TV show with a website, they tend to be islands of entertainment. They don't tend to be connected, and they're certainly not personalised in the same way. And that's something that we can do now with Conductor. What I think is really fascinating about what we're doing is that we're kind of adopting this idea of content as a service. We're not taking a piece of content and throwing it out and saying, well, that's it now, I'm going to kind of disown it. This is content that is always there. That character is always available, unless you as a scriptwriter decide, well, he's going to have a lunch break then and he's not available while he's sleeping, because we can do that as well. And so inside, at the heart of Conductor, is this interactive storytelling gaming engine that is invisible to your audience, because your audience, they're interacting through the touch points that you decide that they're familiar with. It might be a custom app, or it could be Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr and so on. And at the top screen there, that's the authoring environment. In the intelligence network field, we would call that a service creation environment. But that is your scripting tool. That's like the Final Cut or the Adobe Premiere. And this is really a summary of the way I see story worlds going and why we need this new breed of storyteller, because Stories are becoming pervasive, not because they're a lot of fun to create, but because they're real commercial reasons, because we need this attention, because audiences are demanding entertainment on their terms when they say. These stories are persistent, that they're always there, they're always available for me to interact with whenever I want. They're participatory, they're personalised, they're connected, they're inclusive. So I don't need the latest smartphone in order to enjoy this world, but the more that I, invest in this, then so that I get the enhanced experience. And quite naturally it's cloud-based because that's the best way to control everything. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.